What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast episode 353. It is a fine Sunday with fall approaching, although it doesn't feel like it here in Kansas City. But we are back ready to talk some games. We can finally talk about a few of the games we've been playing, which is nice, including, of course, our cover story today, which is Borderlands 4 releasing. And we'll obviously be talking about Nintendo Direct and a few other things. But I am here with my guys, starting with the tie guy himself, Mr. Travis Northup. How we doing? Or what names were you called this week, my friend? Anything good?
Oh,
you can stay on these channels.
Yeah, I sent you one of them, which was not a particularly, honestly, mostly offended by the lack of creativity. Like,
they're really lazy people.
Yeah, it's like if you want to tell me to kill myself, at least like I don't know, put some zhuzh in that. You know what I mean? That's all I ask, guys. I just ask for a little bit of effort, a little bit of care. No, I'm doing good, man. Nice to be here and excited to talk about game.
The games you can talk about, yes. The game you can talk about, maybe.
Game. So, how about you, Richard Hogue?
Oh, yes, that is I. I am Richard Hogue, lawyer of Hogue Law. Thank you for asking, Travis. I am happy to be here as well.
Good.
Are we AI today?
Yeah. It's nice to see you, Richard H. Hogue.
Nice to see you both. We're like speech text to speech from like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever that game is on the Nintendo Direct that sounded like that the whole time.
Tamagotchi?
Yeah. I was like, dude, this sounds like text to speech from 1990. Like,
I want to tell you that game is very much look forward to in Hogue House.
Okay. I'm sure it's a global phenomenon. I was just confused.
My teenage daughter thinks it's wacky looking, and she loves that kind of weird humor.
Hey,
hell yeah!
Fair enough.
Woman after my own heart.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon if you're out across the pond from us. But as I said, talking Nintendo Direct, Borderlands 4, a few other things, of course. Let's get and open up with some of the generosity from the community this morning, which I opened up YouTube this morning and was very surprised. So thank you all ahead of time. Travis, we're going to hit these super chats.
Hello, Dragon Nerd 2, 1999 super chat. Wow. Borderlands? I thought we're all here to talk about Bubsy Inn Perfect Collection. We're here to talk about that too.
Yeah, Bubsy's making a return, isn't he?
I mean, you could call it a comeback, but he was really never there, so he's just trying again. I know it sounds like a setup to a joke, but it's really not. Bubsy was never a thing, even when the Bubsy games were brand new.
Bubsy.
Let him have it, chat. I mean, the
yes, Bubsy defenders
are going to get you.
Come out of the woodwork, Bubsy defenders.
No, I did see some excitement for Bubsy 4, but yeah, I think there's some nostalgia here, of course, for Bubsy from that era, but hell yeah, Dragon Nerd. Thank you for that.
I respect the attempt from the people that have the license rights at this point. Nope. Sorry,
Not doing
Bubsy.
it for you. All right. Dragon Nerd, thank you very much for the early and generous super chat. Mr. Don Lionheart, our guest last week.
Don the Lionhearted gives us a $5 super chat and writes, "Good morning, all. Early super chat today." That's capitalized. It's an official proper noun of some kind. May miss the show live. Seeing Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1 at 9:55 a.m. Oblivion Remastered is so good.
I love that he gave the exact time he's seeing the movie. It's not like I'm going to miss the show. I'm seeing the movie this morning.
He's just telling you where you can hit the meetup.
Yeah. I heard Demon Slayer Infinity Castle Part 1 is, quote, the greatest movie ever made, from somebody I played Blood on the Clock Tower with yesterday.
However, really?
However, IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. So, you know, take that with what you will. I don't often agree with
movie ever made.
I mean, he very clearly was an anime dork, but you know, is somebody who works in animation. He works at Lucas Arts Lucasfilm on the animated Star Wars shows. So he knows his animation. I'll give him that. So
cool.
Yeah, I do trust his opinion when it comes to animated movies. And I don't know. I don't often agree with the IGN's video, like the movie and TV show reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I've said that a lot, Travis. I say that I defend IGN in certain quarters from people that just hate indiscriminately, but I do tend to look askance at their passive media review system.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure these people know more about this medium than I do, but I think they've had a lot of misses for me. It's all, it's all subjective.
I mean, it sounds like you loved it. So as we always say, love what you love. I mean, if you enjoy it, so be it. It's
love
awesome.
what you love.
And we hope you love it, Don. Enjoy those
Yeah.
slayed demons. Or slay the demons, or you're on the demon side. I really don't know. Is it a slayer of demons? Is it a demon that slays? I apologize. I just don't know the context here. Enjoy it, whatever it is.
He slays demons. They slay demons, really.
I don't know either, Hogue, so don't feel bad.
Well, and I have no idea what an Infinity Castle is, but I am used to naming conventions in video games, so
yeah,
go for it.
Well, it's only part 1, so it's actually half of Infinity, really.
Not quite Infinite Castle.
Yeah, yeah.
Don, enjoy it, man. Thank you very much. Vintage Willows here with 5 season gaming memberships, nice and early. Thank you so much, as always, Willow. Hope you are doing well. Appreciate you.
Half of Infinity is actually still Infinity.
I think you're making some assumptions that there are only 2 parts.
Yeah, well, part 1 of Infinity is still Infinity.
It's just one of those crazy things.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
Next time on Mathcast.
I was going to say, yeah. Because right now we have a very important message from Gabe Howard.
Gabe Howard, a €5 super chat. Borderlands 4, it just works. RTX 5090, 30 FPS, 1080p. It's completely fine, folks. Some stuttering on Steam Deck 2 test kit. We'll iron it out. Gabe
Look
Howard.
at the picture.
Yeah. It's our boy Todd.
Is it? I think it's Tabe or God.
Did they mush faces together?
Yeah, you missed out on God with 2D's Howard, I guess.
Yeah, it's Todd Howard and Gabe Newell.
God, Howard.
I like it. As someone who's met Todd Howard, he is shockingly small. Very nice guy. Very great guy to talk to, but shocking.
Sounds like you sized him up for how quickly you could beat him in a fight.
No, I was going to pick him up and take him with me, just pick his brain, but
He's like 2 inches shorter than me. So
he's smaller than you, 100%.
Yeah, he is. He's like 5'6". Yeah. I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
But yeah, he's what we call in the gaming community a short king.
He is a short king. There you go.
I ever tell you when I was coming out of anesthesia and I told my doctors that I was 6'4"? It's like, I know I'm just a face on a monitor to all you watching. I am very far from 6'4". But like that's what anesthesia does to you, man. It messes you up.
You were just describing how high you were to him. I get it. It's metaphor.
Like it. Gabe, thank you. Good luck on the Steam Deck too. Appreciate your work. Googleman's here. Googleman late this morning. He's still 4 minutes before we started, but came in like after 4 super chats, which is crazy.
Googleman 81. A shameful 4 minute before show super chat. €10. Watched a video on Google's Genie 3 may cause spontaneous diarrhea in the industry. Thanks, Demis. Borderlands 4 looks like a great roguelite.
I don't know what's happening in this. What is Google's Genie 3?
I think Googleman's also coming out of anesthesia. But Genie 3 is the interactive AI video creation software that Google's been working on. It's really interesting and impressive, but it does have swimmy visuals. So I think that's what's being referenced.
Part of Google's DeepMind.
The funny thing is, as you guys know, I work with Google on their AI, and I still didn't know what Genie was because that's just not the area that we work in. But that's interesting.
Genie.
Yeah, it's one of their video solutions.
Okay.
And like a genie, it will grant your wish, but only technically, and there will be a cursed element to it.
It'll actually tell you that your wish is not acceptable by polite society, and say, "Please try again." Yeah.
So I tried creating a model this week that just set people up for opportunities to shout D's nuts at them. And like, anytime somebody like asks for something, act like you're going to help them, but then just like lure them into a situation where you can say D's nuts. And the AI did not like that idea. and refused to participate. And I was like, this is why humanity is failing. We lost all joy, you know?
The AI guardrails are a little strong, but
yeah. You know what else is strong? These nuts.
Walked right into that.
Sure did. Sure did. Not coming back from that hook. Turn that into a short, Ains. Bitcast shorts. Just me owning. Just
wrecked.
Wrecked. Air horn.
Wow. Google, man, thank you for the early super chat as always. Alex is here.
Alex, the Slayer Giants.
That's
$1.99 super chat. Morning. When does Borderlands 4 get great? Not feeling it.
He's been baiting with this since yesterday on the Discord.
Cool.
I don't know if it's
sounds like a fun guy.
Yeah, I told him because he said he was 6 hours in, Travis. I was like, 6 hours in Borderlands 4 is like you barely even like open the door. Like the game is gigantic. So I told him to keep playing. It is fantastic. Yeah. It's just huge. It is a huge game. So, but if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. Play something else. Go play some JRPG with, characters you've seen a million times. You'll love it.
Have you beaten Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Alex? Because that should be on your list of things to do.
Absolutely, it should. We've told him this.
And I have a house with a forge now. I'm pretty pumped about. So
I need to hear about this. We'll get to that in a minute because I haven't played that piece yet. But Alex, keep going, bro. We're going to talk a lot about Borderlands, of course. And thank you for the super chat. Hope you're doing well this morning. Mr. Logan.
Captain Logan, $5 super chat. Halloween season is in full effect in the Keller house. Are you more into watching horror or playing horror? Yar.
Watching
because my wife doesn't play video games, so we watch horror all the time.
Playing. Yeah. Horror movies are pretty bad most of the time. Playing horror games
not
are fun.
30 years ago. There's really good horror movies nowadays.
Yeah, there's some pretty bad ones.
Oh, there's still plenty of bad ones. No doubt.
Very bad ones.
I just don't feel that argument holds water. There's plenty of bad horror video games.
That's true.
That's also true.
All right, but I'd rather play a bad horror video game, personally.
We watched Companion yesterday, actually, which is a very interesting take. I wouldn't really call it horror, but it was a very well done but interesting movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I have a weekly viewing of horror movies in October. So I basically spend the rest of my year kind of waiting for them to go on sale.
Okay.
And then put them in a folder for watching in October. We're ready with
what you got?
Weapons and Companion and some others that I can't remember because I put them in a folder so I don't have to remember. But
tell me which ones, and I'll let you know if they're worth your time or if you should watch something else. Because
I'm really excited about Weapons.
Me too. That's the one we haven't seen because we were in England when it released in the theater, and we just are now waiting for it on streaming. But pretty much everything else we've seen. We watch horror probably like 3-4 nights a week.
And I actually quite liked the new Final Destination. I really did like that one.
Until Dawn was surprising. It was better than I thought it was going to be because my expectations were not high for that.
But yeah, it was really trashed. I wasn't even going to buy it. It's worth it?
It's different. It's better than I thought it was going to be. It's very like early 2000s horror, if you like that, like, I don't know, that era of horror, if you will. We also watched a movie called Ash, which has Aaron Paul in it, and it's like a sci-fi horror. I tell everyone listening, don't watch it.
Don't watch Ash. Well, I do have a recommendation. I watched a little indie movie earlier this year that I really liked at a summer camp called Marshmallow. And I don't want to tell you anything about it because it's all twists and turns, but it's at a summer camp. It's got an 80s vibe. Kind of that same Tangerine Dream soundtrack type feel.
I thought you said you watched it at a summer camp, and I was like, dude, Hoag's life is crazy. This guy's going to summer camp.
So I was camp counselor. No.
Yeah.
That would be really evil to watch this movie at a summer camp.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
If you had to go to a camp, what type of camp would you go to as an adult?
I mean, as an adult, Michigan, the University of Michigan, has a kind of family summer camp that has professors go teach philosophy around the campfire and that kind of thing. That's what I would like to do eventually.
Mine's racing. race.
There's
camp.
a racing camp, like Race Wars.
No, you can go to you can go to like 4 or 5 day events at tracks and drive with professional race car drivers and different cars and that type of thing.
Sounds like Race Wars to me. For Fast and Furious, terribly named.
Yes, that's what they modeled it after.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Does Fast and Furious actually have an event that they called Race Wars?
They do.
Yeah.
Which
movie, to be fair to FNF,
Yeah.
to be fair to FNF, is accurate. I've been to plenty of Race Wars where it's basically hundreds of people go to a professional drag strip.
I have to say, you look like you've been to a lot of Race Wars.
You have a bracket of drag racing. So that is a real thing. I told you Fast and Furious 1 got a few things right. The rest of it's nonsense.
I've seen Fast and Furious 1. I just didn't remember that that's what they called their event, I guess.
What they call their event, bro. Yeah.
That's what they call it in the movie. I don't think they might call it in real life. Who knows? But not the ones I've been to. But anyway, Travis, where are you going to?
Which camp am I going to? I don't know. I've been to an improv camp. So
okay.
I would have had you pegged for Magic Camp.
Did it just happen on the fly?
Yeah, it was unplanned. It was just sort of, I was walking along and we were like, what if this were a camp? And then
time for a camp.
I just love that joke, Ains.
Thank you, sir.
Good joke.
I'm trying over here. I'm trying. I'm half asleep still, but Logan, we're off the rails early today. Thank you very much, Logan. We got one more from Mr. Random Name.
Random_name, $4.99 super chat. Good morning, everyone. I just have to say this year has been the most ridiculous year for my wallet. We're not even through October.
Haven't even started it.
Yeah, he's not wrong. We've talked about it. The game release schedule is bonkers. So, yep. Name. Thank you, my friend.
I like
Hope
you
you're
use
doing
the
well.
word bonkers unironically. Good for you.
Yeah, bonkers. Yeah, I'm old, man.
What's the ironic use of bonkers?
It's like a cartoon word. You usually don't use it in a sentence unless you're being cartoonish. So, like jumbo, or it's one of those words.
Jumbo. What?
It's a cartoon word, bro.
Of all the
not real,
all the words,
not real words, bro.
Did you just say it wasn't jumbo? Yeah. Oh my god. All right, let's get into it. Just a reminder, as we talked about the last couple of weeks, YouTube's still being crazy out there for a lot of channels. So share it out both on Hogue and the SG side of the house. It always helps us. We would appreciate you tickling Google's buttons. And now let's get into some games. So
really
what are we talking about this morning, guys? Obviously, we're going to talk a lot of Borderlands, and Travis and I both spent a ridiculous amount of time reviewing it. So we'll get to that. But hit me with a different game to kick us off. Cool.
I'm going to leave it to Travis. I have to remember what the heck I've done with my life for the last week.
What games have I played this week? I
almost just said the one that you're reviewing that I can't say. I'm sorry.
I'm playing a game for review. I'm like 40 hours, 50 hours into it, and I can't talk about it. So I've played a game I can't talk about this week, and that's basically it.
Okay, because you're
very cool content.
Yeah.
All right. I have been playing Horizon 5. Forza Horizon 5 on my PlayStation 5 Pro. They had a sale on it a couple weeks ago. And so I picked that up. Very impressed with the performance. It's a good game. Obviously, everybody knows that already. But I still love the Horizon series, as I know I've called it Party in a Box here and elsewhere before, but it's a very kind of calming thing. It's been a very stressful time in Hogue House. And so I need a game that really doesn't even have the same strategic components as a Monster Train. So I was looking for something that you just kind of put your brain on autopilot and you race around and do those kinds of things. And Horizon 5 is great for that. And I have been enjoying that this week.
Horizon 5 is amazing. In my opinion, probably the best overall racing game ever made, a like complete package type thing. That's fantastic. Yeah, I wanted to check it out on the Pro, but I just, obviously there's just way too much going on. So
I will say, what it looks like. It looks good. I mean, it's not a sea change, but it is impressive.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I reviewed that one, and then I continued to play it for a long time. So great game. At one point, we had a huge SG clan in that game, whatever they call it. And it's because it's not clan, but
it's like Car Club or something.
Yeah, we were like top I don't know. We were way up there. I mean, obviously not with like the huge ones that do the Forzas, but we were like top 100 or something in the world, which was pretty cool to see. We had hundreds of people. But it's been a few years now. Anyway, I hope, the rumor is Horizon 6 is in Japan, which people have asked for forever. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition.
That is the rumor. And it seemed like a pretty solid one from the rumor coming out of like photography being done there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it seems likely.
Japan.
We'll see. Forza Horizon 6 Tokyo Drift. That's what they're going to call it, Travis.
Some rain-slicked neon streets. Some racing on Mount Fuji. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, I'll briefly mention, just because I feel I'm the one who always mentioned this game, is the finals. Season 8 came out this week. The reason this one, I mean, it's always interesting, and the good thing about the finals, because I talk about this game a lot, is it's seeing higher peak player season over season, excuse me, which is great to see. It deserves it. So season 8 hit a new peak over the last year for them, which is awesome. But they also released alongside of it like a mini documentary series that they're doing about how they made the game, because it's so unique in the way it plays and the destruction and stuff. So really, really cool. Another great season out of them, and having just a continued blast with that game. It's just so fully featured now. So put quite a bit of time into that game this week. And then Rematch, which I've talked about, the soccer game from Slow Clap. Got some friends finally playing that, so we have a full team on that. And that's a really good game. It's probably the biggest love-hate relationship I've had with a game in some time, because the game at its core is very fun and incredibly addicting. And it's also simultaneously broken as hell. Playing that game online is a lesson in patience, and things don't work. Weird stuff happens pretty much every match. And yet you finish the match pissed off and you're like, let's play again. And it's a very weird cycle with that one. But I would suggest checking it out. They launched with season 0 to get the game up and running and kind of get people into it. They've had a few updates. They have update 4 and season 1 launching next week. So if you haven't checked it out, it is on Game Pass, so you don't have to buy it if you're on Xbox. But you may want to check it out. There is fun to be had there.
Yeah, it looks cool. I don't know if I could put up with multiplayer mayhem, but it does look cool. The only other thing I wanted to add about Horizon 5, as I can see his little grin up in the corner, is that because of the way the drive attires work, I have Tie Guy Travis as one of maybe a dozen people that are regularly appearing in my races, and he wins every freaking race. If I have to see his dumb little crown head at the end of another race while I play Horizon 5, I tell you, he's not even doing anything. It's not him. He's got this avatar that looks like a jerk, and he's just put a single crown on him. And it's like, it's the worst. I'm going to get you, Tie Guy.
I did play a lot of that game. I was on the IGN wiki team for that. So like I made the wiki of where you can find every one of the bounty boards and how to get it. And then put pins on a map. So yeah, I played a ton of that game. I've got like every collectible you can find.
It is funny when you play one of these games and you have one of these guys like Travis on your friends list. Horizon, if you haven't played it, will show you like how you compare to the leader on your friends list on any given thing, like how many roads you found, how many regions you've been in, how many cars you have, how fast you went. And every single time I'm hit by the name Tie Guy Travis on about a 30-second cadence driving anywhere in this game. So he's just there. And then when we race, his little crown guy just does this stupid little dance and he just laughs at you.
That's awesome. All right. Well, let's talk a little Borderlands. Let's get into it. What, Travis? We started playing this like 3 weeks ago now. It's been a while.
My review has been done for like a week and a half. In fact,
yeah, you were finished a while ago.
I had to do an interview about my Borderlands review because we started putting those at the end of IGN video reviews, and I was like having to refresh myself on what my review said and what we had played because it'd been so long. But yeah, we played it a while ago, and I know you and the others we were playing with like just kept playing, and I could have kept playing. In fact, I was telling Hogue before the show that like I've been having a hankering for playing Borderlands all week, and I can't because I'm working on other stuff. But like, it's all I want to play right now.
Yeah, I got lucky that I didn't have anything else that I'm covering right now, so I have continued playing it. So, your timeline of reviews, just due to the way IGN has content, obviously, is a little different. So I kept playing. After we finished campaign, I kept playing, and then since then, I started my own kind of main to play my own character and kind of do everything the way I would do it personally. So yeah, a lot of time in the game. Travis and I and two others played the entire campaign and a bunch of the side stuff and vaults and like the stuff you run through in 4-player co-op. Travis, you gave it an 8. I gave it an 8.5. We're pretty similar, I think, in our thoughts. Obviously, we put a lot of time in the game in together and we landed on the same. And I will say I'm not experiencing as many now, but I haven't played as much co-op. And one of the main reasons Travis and I struggled with the review period, and you can speak to this more, Travis, is we had a ton, and I do mean a ton, of co-op bugs. I mean, stuff wasn't unlocking. The map was different for all 4 of us, depending on what we were doing. So main mission progress would carry, but just playing co-op, we'd go and spend like hours and hours doing something, and then I would log in, and it was like I'd never been to that area on the map. Some things would be unlocked, some wouldn't. Just a lot of weirdness with co-op issues in pre-launch anyway. So I don't know if the day 1 patch and some of the other patches they've had since then have fixed some of those co-op issues. Be curious to see if anyone's playing it in 4-player co-op. How's that going for them? But otherwise, other than a few kind of minor, I don't know the word, minor complaints, like invisible walls are annoying in the open world. There's a couple other little things like that. But otherwise, I really enjoy it, as both Travis and I are longtime Borderlands guys. And this is my, I think it may be my new favorite Borderlands, passing 2. 2, from a nostalgia point of view, has always been my favorite. I think a lot of people in the community are that way. I don't think 4's narrative hits as strongly as 2 does at its heights, but otherwise I love it. It just, from a gameplay perspective and what you can do in that game, movement, loot, the open world, it's fantastic. So Travis, you all right over there?
Yeah, I tried to
he's in red alert.
I tried to reset
under
my
attack.
I tried to reset my camera to see if that would fix it, because the software seems to be bugging out, but it's just Elgato being Elgato. So
yeah. Real quick before you guys talk on this, Alabama Brad asked about the Super Deluxe Edition. I've had a bunch of friends ask me this. So Super Deluxe Edition is the top one. It's $130 in the US. It comes with the bonus content at launch, but it comes mainly with the expansions and the extra Vault Hunters they're going to add. What I have told friends is, usually with Borderlands, I would wait, because by the time they release some of those things, you can get the whole pass on sale cheaper. So it's not really worth buying at launch. However, in their roadmap, as part of their ongoing content releases, they're giving additional content to people who own the Deluxe or Super Deluxe Edition, in addition to the expansions and DLC. So it's really how big of a hardcore fan you are, if you care about that stuff. If you're only going to play some of the expansions and maybe touch the Vault Hunters, it's not worth it. If you're a hardcore fan who's going to play everything when it comes out and wants extra content along the way, it's probably worth it.
It's funny, I time shift my expenses on this stuff, right? So it really depends on when I think I'm not going to feel it as much when I buy these things, because like I had Hell Is Us pre-ordered, and then it's just like, oh, Pastrick bought that for me when it came out last week. The Kingdom Come Deliverance expansion that I was just mentioning earlier is part of their season pass, so it just pops into your system because you bought it for yourself months ago. But I tend to agree with certain companies, Ubisoft, Take-Two, that their stuff comes out on sale. By the time the pass is actually available with the content in it, they'll probably have some kind of reduction in price. So it's really up to you as to whether or not you want to just think, hey, I got a present today because I didn't even know this expansion was coming out. Or, yeah, I have to go spend that money today.
Yeah. And it's usually pretty significant, too, because they usually do a minimum of 2 to 4 expansions, and then they're having 2 new Vault Hunters. By the time that stuff comes out, we're talking late next year, probably, at the earliest, I think, for all of that stuff. So you can definitely take your time. But if you want that additional stuff along the way, have at it. Hogue, you obviously got into this just a couple days ago. You
Yeah.
were not really super excited about this one, but you pinged Travis and I and said you're having more fun with it than you thought you would. Talk to us.
Yeah, I'm on the normie schedule. I got it when it came out. But but yeah, I am a fan of the Borderlands series. I don't have the same kind of love that people have for 2, but I also don't have the same kind of hate that people have for 3. So it's just kind of been a mid-road series for me the whole time. I have really enjoyed Borderlands 4 for a couple of reasons. One, I was surprised how much the structure of this game narratively, and you don't go to Borderlands for the narrative structure really, but I was surprised how much this mirrors what I consider to be the Far Cry structure, which is you've got the charismatic bad guy, you're in a bad situation, and you're going to lead a revolution against him. No spoilers, but like that's the overall broad strokes. This is you starting the game, Borderlands 4. And I like that setup. I think Ubisoft found something with that setup for Far Cry that works in a number of different settings in different ways. That works for Borderlands 4 just as well. And so you got a guy to hate. You got a guy that you want to take down. You've got people that you're gathering to kind of get that going. And in the midst of all that, you're doing whatever you're doing. In a Far Cry, you're getting vehicles and you're blowing up gas bases or whatever. And in Borderlands, you're looting everything that you can find and you're getting weird, what they would consider comical introductions to mid-bosses and things like that. So I think this absolutely hits from the start better than Borderlands 3. And then in the actual construction of this game, I think that it's so close to Destiny now in this kind of open world, tasks everywhere, subquests everywhere environment that I'm actually surprised when I think back on the Borderlands series that it wasn't closer to Destiny before. And one thing I will say, certainly to Travis's credit, and I'm sure to yours as well, Ains, I just haven't read your review, is that I always feel bad, or I feel like I couldn't kind of distinguish between entries in a long-running series very easily. I just don't remember every single play mechanic that they put in and when. And so I would have had a hard time, even after playing this for a dozen hours, of remembering what the distinctions are. But I remember when I started this game, how different it felt from 2 and 3 before it. So I think they've made some good choices. I am poorly equipped to identify what those differences are to any great degree here. I do think there's some clunkiness in the menus that I don't love. But I think overall, game is exactly what I would want out of a looter shooter like this. I'm having a great time with it. The performance on PlayStation 5 Pro is fine. It does have some hiccups, but kind of the normal engine hiccups that we expect at this point in the generation. So I'm having a good time with it on that system. I'm a little bit surprised at how much of a good time I'm having with it because it usually kind of lands a little flatter for me. So Borderlands to me is a 7 kind of series, and this is an 8 kind of entry in that game. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where it goes further.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Travis.
I talk about the changes a lot in my review, but kind of the way I think of Borderlands as a series is it obviously invented the looter shooter genre. I think it was technically the second looter shooter game, but it was the first successful one, and it pioneered a ton of stuff that has since carried on to games like The Division and Destiny. But what's interesting is that in between Borderlands 2 and 3, you had the pre-sequel Tales from the Borderlands and mostly just nothing coming out while they were working on Borderlands 3. And by the time 3 came out, it was quite antiquated in a lot of its mechanics. And playing Borderlands 3, and I have friends who really, really like that game. But from my perspective, it was like pretty behind the times when it comes to looter shooters by that point. Whether it was like its movement options, which were improved in Borderlands 3, but nowhere near what they are in Borderlands 4, to like a lot of the live servicey stuff, to, just like basic like build crafting and that sort of stuff. It was pretty behind. And I think Borderlands 4 does a really cool thing where it catches it up in all of the ways that it kind of has to. Especially when it comes to like movement and for example, the ability to summon a vehicle wherever you are rather than having to go to a catch a ride station. That alone is like an enormous improvement. But then it refuses to change stuff in certain categories to make it feel like it's still Borderlands. And I think they they make some smart kind of choices on what they're going to like completely uproot and what they're going to keep. For example, one of the things they refuse to uproot is the fact that Borderlands 4 is not a live service game. And I mean, that's pretty clear in its design, and just it has like the closest it gets is to when you get into the end game. It has like weekly activities, but it's not doing season passes. It's not trying to be the game that you log into every single day to like catch up on what's going on. And I think that probably is a good choice considering how the Borderlands community tends to engage with this game. But then other things like the fact that they do have weeklies in the end game and modifiers, and they're very clearly set up for people who want to grind for loot, I think is
I think the whole cosmetic setup they have reminds me of Destiny, with like the being specifically associated with the achievements and the kind of I think that's all I wanted to say actually on that. So I'm going to back up.
Quests and stuff.
Challenges, yes. That all those things go together, and you get the screen of the different cosmetics you can put on the people. But yeah, it is nice to play a game like this that so easily could have a battle pass. You could see how it could fit in if they had wanted it to, and just not. So it does feel almost generous. You're like, oh, I can go and earn all these cosmetics. That's cool. And it's like, it shouldn't really feel generous. Like that's the way we used to do things, but it does.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, and the roadmap, I talk about in the review too. The roadmap for this is really strong, right? They're definitely focusing on the core, what I would call the core Borderlands community, and pulling the new people in along the way. So to Travis's point, the open world aspect, the fluidity of the movement, the shooting, all of those things kind of pull in players who either haven't played a Borderlands or like what they just expect from this type of game in 2025. But Gearbox is also doing a very good job of focusing on the core Borderlands community, the hardcore guys like me, my stepson, the people I know that play religiously, of like what they're doing. They've already talked about their roadmap, right? Like there's new legendaries coming. There's raid bosses coming back like Terramorphous and stuff from 2. There's Pearlescent rarity coming in the first quarter of 2026. So all these things that the people who are going to play this game for years and grind are looking forward to are either already partially there at launch. They do a pretty good job at launch, honestly, with Endgame, or they're going to be expanding it. And I think that's just great. They've done a really good job with this game. I'm very, very pleased with it. And as we were talking before the show, we, wrapped up reviews over a week ago, and I started my main character, and I've been playing it nonstop just for myself now, in my own personal way. So a lot of time, I'm already over 100 hours. The guys we've reviewed with are both over 100 hours. It's a huge, huge game. So if you're getting into this new, or you're just starting and you're a few hours in, like just exploring the world and doing the main campaign and seeing all the regions, what do you think, Travis? Just even if you don't do a lot of the side stuff, you're still easily at 40 to 50 hours.
Yeah, I think it took us 40 hours to beat the campaign.
Just the campaign.
And that was with us, like we were trying to only play together the campaign, and then in between that there was like a lot of side questing and stuff. So my guess would be if you just went beeline for the campaign, it probably is like maybe 30, 25 hours.
Yeah,
you probably 30, get through 35. It pretty quick if you just like strictly were like, I'm going for it. With all the side content though, I mean,
it's huge.
At least 100. And then you could and then there's the weeklies, there's like a ton of grinding to do. You could target specific activities. They have a whole list of challenges for you to take down. And then there's the end game grind, which is about increasingly entering higher world tiers by completing challenges, beating specific bosses, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's a ton to it. And I will say, I mean, I rarely review a game and then just keep thinking about how I want to go back and play more of that game, because usually you review a game, you sort of play it to death. And Borderlands 4 is one of those that I'm just like, I want to play more. Like,
yeah,
very addicting.
It feels like we're not getting a lot of these kind of high-end first-person shooter experiences. Like you're in the Call of Duty bucket or you're not for this, and it's nice. It's nice to play something like this. I am personally happy to be off of Pandora. I don't have any problem with Pandora, but it's nice to see something new.
Yeah,
and so that feels good. I do think that pulling back on what I will term internet comedy was a wise choice.
Yes, it was.
For 4. It's working better for me. And I'm excited about seeing what's next, which is really what I'm looking for in a game that has exploration like this one does. So I'm going to be playing it for a good long while.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's an awful lot more we could probably say about it, but we have very detailed and long reviews out. Both Travis and I, you can check out both video and written. So if you want to learn more about that, please do. I'm going to have a fun video up probably tomorrow, too, of a broken build I discovered while we were reviewing that they have fixed for day 1, so you can't have it. But I just stumbled upon it with Harlow, and it was quite hilarious. So, yeah.
Which one is Harlow?
The Malawan scientist with the bubble generator thing.
Okay.
So, yeah, there was a calculation on one of her skills that was supposed to give you like a bonus, but it was compounding endlessly in the mathematical calculation. So I was basically, taking down Ultimate Vault Hunter 2 raid bosses instantly. Just going in and slaughtering them. It was quite funny. So what it did allow us to do, funny enough, is because one of the other guys that reviewed with us, I showed him the build, so then he built the character and allowed us to basically just do runs and farm at like end game, you know what I mean? Just to kind of see the different legendaries and just experience more of what's out there from a looting perspective. So it's funny.
Before we move on, I do want to give a shout out to Squirrel in our chat, who mentions that they lost 1,000 rosaries by losing their cocoon in Silksong, and I feel very sorry for you. And you have my best. That is a bummer.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of rosaries. Before I got back on my Borderlands 4 kick, I did play more Silksong. I know we talked about that last week. So I am up to about nearly 10 hours, I think. I mean, still not a lot for that game, but a decent amount, and beat a few more bosses, got to a few more areas. So continuing to really enjoy it. I got back on my Borderlands 4 kick, and I'll come back to Silksong later this year, I think.
That is one that I will not be playing a lot of. I can guarantee that. Borderlands 4, I will be playing for a long time. Team Cherry, you're welcome for the various donations that I've given you throughout your lifespan for Hollow Knight and Silksong that I will definitely not be playing more than 10% of. So it's just not for me. That's all right. A lot of people adore it. I'm very happy for them. This is not for me. That's okay.
Yep. Yeah. It's definitely a challenging game.
For sure.
Yeah, it's challenging. It's especially in the 2D space. It's fun to play a game that takes me back from a challenge perspective to the 16-bit days of the days of old, if you will, where those games really kind of throw stuff at you continually that'll test you. And I will recommend to everyone, if you're not and you have a controller with a good D-pad, play that game with a D-pad, not the thumbstick. You'd be far better off.
Yeah, add it to the backlog, boys. Add it to the backlog.
Using the joystick with Silksong, I was accidentally hitting the down attack way too often, so I had to switch to D-pad.
Yeah, D-pad on that Razer controller I've been using is really, really good. So I've been using that, but trust me, it helps on those 2D games that play like that. Clickety clackety. Yeah. The only other thing that really came out this week that I wanted to just touch on, I haven't played it, but Peter reviewed it for us. His review will be up tomorrow on it, but is the Order of the Giants expansion for Indiana Jones. He gave it a pretty good score, which we'll get to tomorrow, but he said it's if you like the puzzles and you're back in I don't know what Travis is doing right now, but he's being the fish. But it's out, supposed to be pretty good. I think it reviewed in maybe the mid 7s to low 8s, something like that. But sounds like it's a lot of fun and getting back into the puzzles and just playing more of that story. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that for sure. All right. Anything else you guys want to mention in the gaming front? Hogue, you got a note for us this morning?
I do have one Hogue note. There is a turn-based RPG. I have no idea how many people made this game. I can't tell you anything about the creation process that I've been playing that I've been enjoying quite a lot, called 8-Bit Adventures 2. I have no idea where 8-Bit Adventures 1 is. It's not on any of the things that I buy games on. But this particular game is a love letter to like 8-bit era Final Fantasy. We see more of those in love letter form to 16-bit because that indies can do that now, but this is realistically 8-bit. entire character fills one square of pixel graphics. And the conceit of this game is basically that these characters are actually in an 8-bit game and either don't realize it or kind of realize it, but it has the world-spanning adventure that I enjoy so much. And like so many of the games I recommend, I got it on sale on my Switch. I have no idea whether that sale is still going on, but it is a good time. It is a worthwhile game. Check it out if you're interested in playing Final Fantasy like it was originally played in like 1988.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cool.
No.
Yeah. Shout out to our regular Nissa Hauer for reminding me I didn't do Tides picks, guys. How the hell did I forget Tides picks?
You wanted to get to Borderlands 4 as fast as possible.
Are
we going to be psychos? Yes, are we going to be vault hunters?
We are not Borderlands themed. It's probably good that we segue into our Nintendo Direct conversation because not only are we something themed with Metroid, but it is horrifying. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time. So here we go.
Horrify us.
Dragon. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So do we need to tell Tide that Samus is a lady? Or should we just be thankful that the AI didn't try to make us look like Samus?
Yes. And also, Hogue, I only just noticed, is your chest like Samus's visor? Like
maybe
it looks like her head is on your chest for some reason, which is odd. Tie Guy still has the tie over the armor, which I appreciate.
That's how he would do it.
That tie is way too short, though. It doesn't even go past my bust. I mean, that's just not.
The AI doesn't know how you would treat a tie on your bust, Travis.
Well, it should. Because it goes down to my navel and no further. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Also, you guys, Ains, you and I look like not us. Like that's not our faces at all.
No,
like,
I look really odd.
They kind of look like TV actors cast to portray us. Where like
it's
you know what we actually look like. It's like, oh, it's not really them, but it's like it's their general vibe, kind of close enough. I don't like
it's an odd one. Hogue just looks like regular happy, ready to go Hogue.
Just in a piece of power armor.
Yeah, with the visor on the front. Also, Logan says, Travis reminds me of what Mega Man would look like if he worked for a Fortune 500. Oh my God. Yeah, this is an interesting one, Tide. But thank you for the Metroid Samus. And yes, Samus is female. Spoilers for 1986 or whenever that was.
Why am I so pale? My God.
These are questions you got to ask yourself. This is not the AI's fault, Travis.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, your photo in that one, Hogue, like it just looks like the world's worst Photoshop job. It's like your head is just cropped out of some other photo. And
have you ever played with the AI? Sometimes the AI just delivers that kind of bad Photoshop look.
Yeah. Anyway, let's jump over to it. So we've got Nintendo's Direct. That was this week, a long Nintendo Direct. And I don't know about. Let me ask you guys out of this gate. So I'm sure you watched it. How do you feel about this Nintendo Direct? Like it, love it, hate it? What?
I gave it a B.
A B. Okay.
But I did like it.
Because I was watching it with a few other guys just chatting, and like there's some announcements here I like, but overall I was just like, this isn't doing much for me at all. But then again, I realize I'm not generally the target audience for a lot of this stuff, so that's fine. But it seemed that people, at least anecdotally on my timeline, really liked it. So there we are. Travis, did you get time to check it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it out of one eye. Yeah, it had some cool stuff. I still think, I mean, Metroid 4 coming out this year is cool. It was a lot of like announcements where I was sort of like, okay, I'll wait until I see more of that. I don't know. The announcements in general don't do a ton for me. Like just watching the trailer and the opening stuff, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Call me when it's time to do previews or whatever, because I have no idea if it's going to be good or not. But yeah.
Gotcha. Well, we talked ahead of time of like picking out a few things that you really liked. I think, Metroid's a very big one. So Metroid Prime 4 coming out December 4th. I want to ask your guys' opinion on this, because when they this trailer for Metroid, I thought was terrible. And I'm very excited for the game. But I thought this look of it was like horrendous. I don't know who cut this. But one of my good buddies who goes back, he's seasoned like me. We go back to the original Metroid on NES. The first thing he said to me was, the last thing I want to see when they show Metroid Prime 4 is Samus on a motorbike riding across open space. That's not what I want out of Prime. And obviously, I'm sure it'll play like the other Metroid Primes and have the environments and everything else you do in that game. But I just thought this trailer didn't interest me at all.
Yeah, I tend to excuse me. I tend to agree. Now I have seen the actual gameplay from, I think, a very early level during the Treehouse when Nintendo had their Switch 2 Direct. So I have seen it look very much like a Metroid Prime game, and I'm excited to play that. I am also deeply disinterested in the motorcycle antics of Samus on a deserted planet landscape. But I think realistically, that trailer was about putting a release date on the game. And I don't know how much thought was actually given to actually showing off the game. It was all about putting that number at the end. I think that's a mistake. You miss an opportunity to sell your game. But I mean, I think this was just after they also announced that like Sakurai was going to get another 45 minutes to talk about Kirby Air Riders. So Nintendo is doing weird stuff. Sakurai gets another Air Riders Direct, which my family's already super excited about. They weren't excited. They watched the first Direct. They became excited. They don't need any more selling. It's a Kirby racing game. Come on now. But he's going to get another Direct. So they announced that. This particular game, I think, slid. I don't think that December 4th date was the original. You could see it from the other things that got announced at the same time, when the amiibos come out, that kind of thing. And Nintendo always does that silently, so you don't notice as much. But I'm happy they're going to get this game out this year. I have no doubt that it's being held back in part by the fact that they announced it for the Switch, and it's a Switch game. Part of the problem I think Nintendo has with this Direct, and honestly their rollout here, is just how many things are Switch games with maybe a Switch 2 enhancement or two, right? And they've tried to kind of straddle this line and sell you $20 upgrades to the various games that they're doing this for. But like, I don't know who was sitting back and saying, I desperately need a Switch 2 upgrade for Mario Wonder, right? Like, probably the last Nintendo game I can think of that I wanted to make sure got onto my Switch 2. Like, you can play it right now and it's fine. But that's their biggest problem that I see. And Metroid Prime 4, I think, is one of their last big, this is going to be on Switch and Switch 2 games, until they announce a dozen more Switch games next year, and I can take this all back. But that's one of the reasons why I think it's not terribly impressive looking. I think it does look better when you just see the Switch 2 version, as we saw during the Switch 2 Direct. But yeah, I was deeply unimpressed by this trailer, but I am excited about the prospect of playing Metroid.
Yeah, Alex brings up a good point in the chat here, which I think is what my other buddies talked about too, is like, I always fear Metroidvania, or Metroid, in this case, we don't need to use Metroidvania for Metroid, but becoming bigger than it needs to be. So like the idea of just racing around open spaces or this kind of stuff just seems weird to me. It's not what I think of with Metroid, but I do have full confidence the game's going to be great. I mean, they haven't really missed with these too much, so we'll see. But the
biggest reason I have confidence in this project is because they canceled it once. Like, if you don't care about your output, if you don't care about the quality you're putting on the name of your series, you figure out a way to roll with the first attempt that you made to make this game at all. Instead, they canceled it, cost them what appears to be 3 or 4 years, and a lot of money. So that at least indicates to me, from 30,000 feet, that you care about what quality you're putting this game out under. And so that leads me to believe that it's going to be higher quality than it otherwise would have been. But we'll see. I don't anticipate that the motorcycle action is actually going to be a big part of this game. I think it was a, look at this cool thing we also have in here.
Yeah, I think like with a lot of trailers, you like open with the new interesting thing you're not expecting to see out of the game. And then that was motorcycle. And then you pop over and it's just like, yeah, I mean, they added a motorcycle. That's just their move, dude. They added it to Breath of the Wild, too. You just add a motorcycle to it.
Yeah, add a motorcycle to it.
We don't know that it wasn't added to Wonder.
That's true. And then after they show that part, then they get to like the more traditional shooting stuff. And look, Metroid Prime has never been a good shooter. It's a Metroidvania game with a first person perspective, and there is shooting. So I don't think the bar is particularly high on that one, but we'll see. I mean, I think this game is going to be good. Nintendo seems to find ways to be creative and interesting, and so when I see trailers like this, I just sort of go, okay.
They do find ways to be creative and interesting.
Yeah.
That was really what I thought when I saw that Virtual Boy trailer.
Virtual Boy.
Revenge of Labo, Virtual Boy edition.
Dude, I posted on social of just like, look, I know there's a whole generation out there that doesn't remember the Virtual Boy. It came out 30 years ago, which means you probably have to be about 40 or more to really understand the chaos that was the Virtual Boy. The Virtual Boy was a piece of garbage. It was terrible, top to bottom. Terrible.
Well, my daughters love games. I've talked about them a lot here. They have a DS. They play the 3DS as well. They have a history with older systems. My daughter, who's watching this with me when the direct is happening, says, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that existed.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, no, it doesn't have any imprint at all. I mean, somebody needs to tell Nintendo, and honestly, a lot of other creators, that nostalgia doesn't just mean old. There has to be some kind of baseline level of love in the past to go and attach to. And so
maybe they're just trying to redeem it.
Look,
second time's the charm.
Look,
go for it, Nintendo.
$100 for a piece of plastic you have to put your Switch in to play on a device that came out 30 years ago, or play games, emulated as if you were playing on a device that came out 30 years ago, that in Nintendo's prime sold, well, they're probably in their prime now, but you know what I mean, at that era of Nintendo, sold less than 1 million units all time. I mean, is a disastrous thing. I can't believe
being weird. Keep being weird, Nintendo. But yes, this is insane. You are maniacs.
Seriously, I couldn't believe it. I was like, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, are they pranking us in the middle of their direct? Like, so I don't know. People are gonna buy that. They're gonna plug it in. They're gonna play Mario Tennis and or whatever the couple games on that thing are that look horrific, and they're going to be like, what the hell is this? And they're going to go back to playing Switch and Switch 2 games.
Or it'll be
it's super bizarre. And when that
it's not going to be amazing, Travis. It's just not.
Know.
When the trailer starts and they're like, play it in stereophonic 3D or whatever the words are that they use to describe the Virtual Boy system, I'm like, how though? I don't have, my TV can't do that. And then they show the plastic stand. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's a Labo. I have that already. I have the Labo VR glasses. And so it's wild to me how much that costs for what is just a stand. And it's obvious that that's all kind of just engineering and shipping, because the cardboard version is a quarter of the price, and also that works with a cardboard version. So I'm never going to tell Nintendo to change on this stuff. Keep being crazy, but this one's not going to work out for you.
No, I'm telling you. There will be fans that buy it and fans that defend it. Nintendo can do no wrong to some people. They will find a way to excuse anything Nintendo does.
Still be good. You don't know.
We do know. We know those games.
I played Virtual Boy at launch. I know what it is.
Who knows?
Trust me.
What
I've played it.
Planned.
Yeah. Well, who knows what they have planned?
It'd still be good.
No, it's not. Anyway, let's get to the better stuff of the direct.
Give peace a chance, Ains.
Let's get to the better stuff.
Yeah. What do you got? What was your favorite game from the show? Tell me.
Okay, so my favorite announcement of the show was Dragon Quest VII Remake, because that's out of freaking nowhere. What?
It is out of nowhere.
They just plucked Dragon Quest VII out of the sky. That's one of my favorite versions of the Dragon Quest formula. And not only did they pluck it out of the sky, it's not HD. It's not HD 2D. It's this weird kind of diorama puppets graphics that reminds me most of Neo Fantasia. And I am super excited to play this game, even more so having read the interviews after the direct where they say, hey, we know that this game was known for being too long, right? It was a 90-hour RPG when that wasn't normal. It didn't have good pacing. It had good ideas, but you had to kind of slog through the slowness of the story. And we're streamlining the whole thing as part of this remake project. This is what I want out of remakes, right? I'm looking at you, Final Fantasy VII. But Dragon Quest VII is an excellent game. People should be excited about this. It is one of the best RPGs of all time, and it is being remade with what looks to be a great deal of care. And nobody had leaked or even hinted that this thing existed before the direct. So This is the announcement where I sit up and go, yes, let's do it, Square Enix. I believe in you. Also, Maniacs is a company.
Yeah. Cool. Travis, you got one? You got a game
where
that really
where I sat forward and said yes was maniacally, might I add, was the Pokemon game where you play a Ditto that looks like a human and has vine arms and spews water out of their mouth like a weirdo.
Those arms are horrifying.
And it is a cozy game, so check.
Yep.
It is a Pokemon game, so check. It has a premise that I would describe as Lovecraftian, check. And hell yeah, I'm all the way down for this one. It's weird, it's interesting, it's new. I'm down.
You reviewed Tales from the Shire. Clearly, you don't know anything about cozy games. I was told that by people who.
Yeah, have you ever played a cozy game before, Travis?
I've never played them before, so
that's true.
The things I know Travis doesn't play are cozy games and dating games.
Yeah,
never ever.
Anyway, so I've never played one, but I would like this to be my first. I want that human-shaped Ditto to be my first.
What's funny to me, Travis, on this is I saw online people saying it looks like Animal Crossing. To me, it looks like Dragon Quest Builders. It doesn't look like Animal Crossing much at all.
It kind of looks like Viva Pinata to me. Because it's like you have a little plot. We only saw like one little square that they were in, and they were like collecting Pokemon in the way that you collect pinatas in Viva Pinata.
I like the way you said that.
And I think it kind of reminds me of that sort of game. But anyway, I don't know what it is, but it's a goofy ass premise, and I hella want to play that game. So that was without question my favorite game of the show.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah.
No, I thought that was a really cool announcement too. That was one of the three that I wanted to talk about.
Nice.
I don't know if I have a favorite one. I do like that we got the Fatal Frame 2 remake, going back to horror, right? We did get a new look at Resident Evil Requiem, which was awesome. It's also cool to see that coming to the Switch too, which I
and every other Resident Evil.
Yeah, which is very cool. I would say maybe for me, because I'm one of those guys who has played very little. Shame incoming. I'll be prepared for your shame, or for my shame. I've played only a little bit of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Because I was not a Wii guy. I didn't really like the Wii. And so I own them. I literally have them sitting over there, but I just haven't really played them like I normally would, the mainline Mario games. So the fact that 1 and 2, as much as they resell their games and drives me crazy as Nintendo does, but the fact that you can get both on the Switch 2 with an update is something I'm looking forward to. I'll probably go back and play those finally.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. This is one of those areas where I think Nintendo gets rightly criticized for cost structure and artificial controls on like availability of things. Like everybody that bought the Mario 3D collection when it was available for however many months it was has Mario Galaxy 1, but they don't have Mario Galaxy 2 notably. And now you're only going to be able to buy 1 and 2 together for what at least has been rumored to be a full priced game. It's like, okay, Nintendo, I get that, but if I were to come up across the same situation on Steam or in other stores, somebody would give me a discount for already owning Galaxy 1. But we'll see if Nintendo does that. And I'm not saying Galaxy 1 on the Wii, I'm saying Galaxy 1 on the Switch ecosystem. So it's like, we'll see if Nintendo does that. I have my doubts. But I think it is exciting to see one of the best 3D platformers ever made in Galaxy 2 be available on a modern system currently connected to your TV. So yes. I'm excited about that announcement. I'm excited about how soon it is. And so I am looking forward to playing Galaxy again.
Yeah, and I don't know. So, but it looks like, Hogue, you can buy them separately if you buy digital. They're $40 each, or you can buy the pack together for $70. So,
all right.
Still,
so then it just becomes a question of figuring out, as I've had to do with every Switch game now that the Switch 2 is out, exactly what enhancements there are, what they aren't doing for the version that's in the Mario All-Stars 3D version. Like, it's just so weird to try to evaluate what it is you're buying in the Switch ecosystem now. But that's good to know. I didn't actually know they were selling them separately. That is nice to hear. Thank you, chat. I will evaluate those things and find the right solution for me.
I didn't rebuy Galaxy 1 when they re-released it, so I'm probably going to just grab this bundle at some point, physical, which is cool. and hopefully get back to them. Just, sometime in this mix of games that we're in. Obviously, one of the largest announcements they saved for their last thing is a new Fire Emblem. So Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave coming out next year. I am not a Fire Emblem guy, so you guys talk to me about it.
Boo you, Ains.
The Fire Emblem guy?
I don't want to talk to Ains anymore. Honestly,
me neither. Ains, you're off the show.
All right,
Hogue,
peace, guys.
You'll be taking over as host.
You don't like character strategy games, Ains? This is amazing to me.
Can't talk to him anymore. Ains, feel free to super chat us in the comments if you want to contribute to the conversation.
Send yourself some money with a 30% cut going to YouTube.
Yeah. The Fire Emblem is sick. So
yes,
who the heck doesn't want more Fire Emblem? I'm interested to see if they'll go more traditional or go to Three Houses style. But yeah, I will play that game for sure.
Yeah, there are glimpses in this trailer to what's it called? Fortune's Weave?
Yeah,
that was called. I hate that subtitle, but that's fine. It'll grow on me.
Bad.
I think Three Houses is pretty evocative and descriptive. So I like that as a title. I hated Emblem. That doesn't mean anything.
What was the one with time travel? That was the one the last one I reviewed was the one with time travel. It was maybe a 3DS game.
He super chatted himself. The maniac.
Did he actually? Mad lad.
Here you go. Read this out for us, Travis.
Porsche Power gives a $5 super chat and writes, personally, I'm glad Ains is gone. Hashtag Bitcast better. So true. Yeah, we're all happy. Everyone's happier now that you're not there.
I love character-based strategy games. I love them. I'm excited about Final Fantasy Tactics coming out at the end of the month. I love Fire Emblem as a series. It's kind of the pinnacle combination of strategy, RPG, and visual novel because they have so much discussion and politics in these games.
Social links.
This being what appears to be some kind of successor to Three Houses, right? It has Sothis at the end of this trailer. That's their big kind of one last thing. Is really cool. Three Houses, obviously their most successful Fire Emblem project ever. So it's not a big surprise that they're keeping up with that. We got a glimpse of kind of a character running through an overworld kind of scenario or a living world RPG kind of scenario. So there does appear to be some Three Houses DNA in there. It doesn't appear to just be Emblem. But I love this graphic style, which is a continuation of Emblem. And I'm super excited about playing it. The one fear I had when this trailer started was that it was going to be a Fire Emblem Warriors game. I don't have anything against the Warriors games. But one of the things that happens in these Nintendo Directs is you say, oh, it's a new Zelda or it's a new Fire Emblem or whatever they've licensed out to make a Warriors game out of. And you get excited for a minute and then you find out it's just a Warriors game. And I was holding on until they showed I think there's a blip. It's a blink and you'll miss it image of moving the squares around and actually getting into a Fire Emblem type battle. But I'm super excited about this. 2026 is a little vague, but for the most part, Nintendo doesn't really broadcast out too far in advance. So I don't know when this game comes out, but I would be hoping for it to come out early fall next year at kind of the latest. And that would be super cool to me.
Feels like it'll be one of their bigger releases for next year, no doubt, right? So yeah, I could see that early fall timeline for sure. You're right, Travis. I did. As I was confirming the spend, I was like, well, there's $1.50 to Google and Apple for no reason whatsoever, but okay.
Yeah, just for the joke. You gave it for the joke.
Yeah, it's for the joke.
That's what we do here.
You do it for the audience. You got to do it.
That's why we call it the Bitcast. It's all about the bits.
Mr. Game Positive.
Game Positive, $2 Canadian super chat. Make Bitcast bald again.
I'm trying. These guys are messing it up, but I'm trying. Yeah.
Hey, folks thought I was bald for a long time.
I thought you were balding too. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? It's because I know a lot of guys who wear hats because they're losing their hair, or are losing their hair because they wear hats. Is what I think.
Correlation and causation on the next virtual legality.
Well, yeah, it's like I don't know. I've never worn a hat. I have my hair. I'm actually surprised I have my hair. All the men in my family, both sides, very bald.
Yeah, across the board. You and Hogue have good heads of hair. I do not.
I love Fire Emblem. I would like to.
I love Fire Emblem.
I would actually like to call out a second Hoag's Notes, if you all will permit me up there on the top row.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Hoag. Only because we got a super chat related to Fire Emblem that I want to call out. He just came in.
$10 super chat. I was hoping to hear some Fire Emblem slander, but now I guess it will never happen. You know what they say? Can't review Nintendo games if you don't love them.
I think Nintendo gets weird.
Games.
Nintendo gets weird from time to time. I don't adore them like everybody does, but I do love my Switch 2, and I do love a lot of Nintendo products. That's just honest.
Yeah.
I think fans should review things. I don't think it's wrong for reviewing Nintendo games if you love them, because oftentimes fans are more critical. They know more about the games and what they want and that sort of thing. They also tend to have a lot of overlap with what the community wants. The
Borderlands being a perfect example.
Exactly. I'm a huge Borderlands fan, reviewed that game. I feel like I was a pretty good choice for it. That said, the question is, are you the type of fan who can be objective about it, or not objective in your own beliefs, not objective?
I always just ask for transparency, right? Travis, you do a good job at the start of your reviews. I think almost every time, maybe every time,
pretty much,
where you basically establish your bona fides at the top or your lack thereof. Say, I don't have a history with this series, or I've played all these and I love this part, but I don't love this part. I just want to know like what I'm looking at when I'm reading something. So if you give me that transparency, I know to discount that you just love everything about this series and always have when you tell me that it's just the best thing since sliced bread. So yeah, it's fine to be one way or the other. You can come in and review and say, I hate all Nintendo games, but they put me on Mario. And I say, all right, so I know how to slant that 4 out of 10. I understand where you're coming from. But Metacritic, OpenCritic, that whole kind of ecosystem confuses that a little bit because everybody just reads them as aggregates now. And I don't think that's healthy, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Machine, thank you. Good friend here, our regular. Thank you for the super chat. All right, Hoke, hit us with the notes you wanted to go on to.
Yeah, there was a game I wanted to mention that I haven't played a ton of, but is from a tiny indie series that I really like, that reminds me a lot of Fire Emblem, or going back further from Fire Emblem, the Shining Force series, if you played those back in the day. And that is a little indie game that just came out. I think it released on the same day as Silk Song, so you can judge them on that if you want. Called Dark Deity 2, which is the sequel to Dark Deity, but it is a character-based strategy role-playing game. It is, if you can believe it. It is a character-based strategy role-playing game that really does remind of Fire Emblem or Shining Force, and it's got a lot of cool things going on in it. So if you can't wait for Fire Emblem Fortune Favors the Bold or whatever it is, I do recommend Dark Deity. I think it's a $20 game, Dark Deity 2, and give it a try. They've done a lot of cool things with it. I wish I had had the time to play it more to give you more insight as to those cool things, but it's doing some stuff with randomizers and the order that you collect characters and things that you don't see in the Fire Emblem series that I quite like, that add replayability to a series like this.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see. Let's do that. So on the Direct, a few more things to call out. We got the tease for the Mario Galaxy movie, right? April of 2026 is what they said. So springtime Mario movie, not too far away, really.
I can give the Hogue girls immediate reaction to it being called Mario Galaxy, which was, does that mean Rosalina's going to be in it? To which I said, I think it has to mean Rosalina's in it.
Yeah.
And they got very excited about that.
Okay. Cool.
We'll see. Rosalina has a big fan base in my house. I don't know exactly why, but
because she's beautiful.
Whoa.
Travis is announcing his video game crushes today. Rosalina is number 1.
She's a beautiful angel. These females, these video game females.
He's breaking down. The AI is shutting down. We've used too many tokens.
I tip my fedora to Rosalina and I say, "Milady," and I move on.
One of the other kind of bigger announcements is the new Yoshi game, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which is also coming in spring of next year. This is interesting to me because I like the, really like the art style they showed of this one, and it looks very unique. I think it looks very pretty, but I don't know if it's going to be a little too simple for me.
I think you're hitting it right on the head, Ains. The Yoshi series has some interesting ideas and it does some cool stuff, but they aim this so young that they come off as too easy. Even for me, who's not the one that's out there playing Silk Song, I don't look for just difficulty in my platformers, but the Yoshi series is really being used as a kind of gateway to maybe the wider Mario world. And so it's even easier than Mario. And that tends to be just not very stimulating for someone that plays any number of games at all.
Yeah,
I do think the visual style is awesome.
It looks amazing.
I know their audience, Hogue.
No, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not for me. There's a lot of stuff that's not for me, Travis.
It's toddlers, people who just suffered a stroke and are trying to learn basic motor skills again.
That's a good question, actually. Me coming right out of the ICU, would I have been satisfied with the Yoshi series of games? I don't think I would be, but maybe.
I think you.
There was a time where I was trying to play. Oh God, what is the Tango GameWorks music game?
Evil Within. Oh, music game. Never mind.
The music game. I want to say Jet Set Radio. It's not that.
The rock one.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush. Yes.
I was trying to play that out of the hospital, and I could not move forward and jump at the same time, which is a big problem for any game.
Sounds like that would cause issues. Yes.
Maybe it would have been okay to play Yoshi at that point in time.
I think Yoshi would have been your game of the year that year.
I can't speak for everyone recovering from stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it looks fantastic. Like, it makes me want to play it because I like Yoshi. I like the character. I like the design of this. I like games that have this kind of unique, I guess, art style. Like, I love the little big planets. I love, all those types of games like that. But it just feels like I would get bored playing it, which is a problem. But it's not for me. To Hogue's point, I'm sure plenty of people are going to love this game. It'll be a great hit in family households, which is awesome. So, looks good. What else we got from the Direct, boys? Anything else you want to call out?
Yeah, there's two things I want to call out. The first thing is the DK Bonanza DLC, which was shadow dropped during this Direct. It is a roguelike mode in which Void Kong from the game essentially asks you, as Donkey Kong and Paulina, to run around and collect ever-increasing amounts of what used to be gold, but which is turned green and called Emerald, for this particular game mode. They also added, as part of this DLC, a map for DK Island, which is the island that just has a big Donkey Kong head in the middle of it. I bought this immediately. I love Bonanza. I have played a good deal of it. I do not think it is worth the money. It's $20. I think this is a bad DLC. Honestly, I think it is an end game that they were toying with for this game that was pulled out and sold back to me for $20 more. It is not very compelling, and more importantly, for a roguelike setup of this type, it doesn't seem to be balanced right. You don't feel like you're on the edge of succeeding or failing. You're either wildly succeeding or just straight up it's not working out. It's not a good game design balance, and it's just collecting gold in maps that already exist outside of DK Island, with prizes that are not compelling. Mostly they're prizes that just add like roguelike elements to the game mode itself. The 3 exceptions, or maybe 4 exceptions to that, are little pieces of costuming for Donkey Kong and Paulina, but most of those are only adding special effects for the new mode itself as well. So you're not going to be running around with those for the most part. And so I was really disappointed in this, although it's still a great game. It's still fun to punch things and destroy things in the game. It's not a good addition, in my opinion. Reasonable minds can differ on that, of course, but I was surprised that there isn't more there. And DK Island itself doesn't have anything going on.
I was going to ask if you played it, because obviously I'm a fan of the game and I saw it, and just seeing the footage and like they turned the gold emerald, like you said, in this kind of just smash mode, I was just like, this doesn't look very interesting to me.
See, and I look at that and I say they must have come up with some way to make that interesting. So I know Travis accuses me of being a pessimist all the time or a cynic, but I really am an optimist on this stuff. And I say, well, surely there's something more to it than just what they showed in the trailer. And there is not.
Okay. One thing I did forget to mention, which was a big one too, is Mario Tennis Fever. launches in February. So I know, funny enough, SG Discord was popping off about this one.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, Mario Tennis, I guess, has its fans, but February 12th features 38 playable characters, which is
that was crazy.
Huge.
Yeah, 30 Fever Rackets, abilities, all kinds of other stuff. So, I mean, if you like Mario Tennis, it definitely looks like it could be a really good entry in the series. So that's pretty cool.
Mario Tennis is sick. I reviewed the last one, and one of the big complaints from pretty much everyone who played that game was the lack of characters. So
yeah, wasn't it like 6 or 8? It was something small.
It was a very small number of players. Yeah, I still like that game, but yeah, this sounds like they're taking the Smash Bros. Ultimate approach, which is cool.
Nintendo's gotten a lot better, in my opinion, of this kind of rolling couch multiplayer where you're just constantly kind of getting the next game mode that I've seen in the various things that I've played in Splatoon or Mario Kart World now. So I'm excited to see them kind of implement some system that encourages you to keep playing Mario Tennis. I'm not as impressed, or at least this is, I guess, old news. I wasn't impressed with the Mario Tennis that came out on the Switch. I didn't think it played very well in an online environment, and I didn't like the way it actually felt to play. So I'm hopeful that this will be an improvement there. But what I'm a sucker for, and I've said this in other places, but I've been a sucker for since an old game called Final Lap Twin, is taking a concept like in that game, racing a car around what were then high tech, but would be very low tech graphics now, and having that be the baseline for what is essentially a turn-based RPG. And this game showed that they have an adventure mode, which will undoubtedly be dumb in terms of storytelling because you're going to solve all your problems with tennis. But I am a sucker for taking that RPG framework and saying, we don't have to just battle monsters in a D&D environment. We can race cars, or we can play tennis, or we can putt golf balls or whatever. So I like that. And that pops up from time to time in these kinds of entries.
It does. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. So that's going to be fun. That's the reason I will be getting this game, Nintendo. If you're keeping track at home, if you want to make sure Hogue buys your game, I don't know why you care, but thank you. Please keep making this dumb stuff in your games because it does get me in the door.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm otherwise not compelled by Mario Tennis and hitting the tennis ball into pinball bumpers or whatever else they showed in this game.
Come on.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's been doing a good job with multiplayer games, and Mario Party, Mario Kart, Splatoon have all shown that I like the way they kind of set up their infrastructure. So I'm hopeful that they do the same with tennis.
What was the other game you wanted to mention, Hogue?
Oh yeah, my biggest imminent announcement. So my biggest game of the Direct was Dragon Quest VII, but that's next February, I think, which is still pretty close, but it's a while. My biggest imminent announcement was Hades 2 got a release date, y'all.
Yes.
Hades 2 is exciting. And not only is it a release date, it's like 2 weeks away. And it went up immediately for pre-order. September of 2025 is going to feature the release of Silksong and Hades 2. It is Indie Month in 2025. And I am super excited about that release. That is just top of the chain.
How much of it have you played?
I have played 0 minutes of Hades 2. I bought the early access edition for my daughter. She didn't want to play it. I don't really like early access. So I wait for 1.0 on almost everything. But
Hades 2 was barely early access. There was a ton of content, and
I believe you.
Extremely polished. Yeah,
I believe that. I just don't like that process. I bought Baldur's Gate 3 early access. I played through Act 1. I just don't like the kind of watching it all come together. It's just not what I enjoy. So I'm excited about playing that game. Hades 1 is excellent. I've heard that kind of talk about the early access to Hades 2. Mm-hmm. So seeing it in 1.0 on my Switch 2 is going to be exciting. It's going to be a big day. And then that's like 3 or 4 days before Final Fantasy Tactics comes out. So I'm over the moon. Just having a great time playing video games.
I love that they're doing they're doing a full Switch 2 physical for Hades 2 as well. So I'll be picking that up. It is really good. To Travis's point, it was already very, very good in early access. I actually haven't played it in a while. I played it when they first released it in early access. I played a bunch of it. Yeah, but I haven't played it recently.
15 hours, and then I was like, I need to stop myself because I want to play the full thing. So
and that's where I get with early access, which is like I don't know what's going to change, but I want to save this for it being done.
Yeah. No,
So
I'll be picking that one up too.
Now the end of my September is Hades 2. It is Trails in the Sky, which we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. It is Final Fantasy Tactics, Ivalice Chronicles. I mean, I am living high on the hog in video game land. And those are all going to be games that probably sell like less than 1 million or whatever. But they're making me very happy.
Are you doing Silent Hill F?
I will probably be skipping Silent Hill F. Okay. If I go into Horrorland in October, it'll probably be with Chronos.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Chronos coming as well. So I've got Chronos and Silent Hill F. Man, a lot of games.
Also September 25.
Yeah, that's less than 2 weeks away, which I thought it was October for some reason in my head. And then I'm like, oh my God.
Because it's a horror game. Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason. Yeah. I wonder why I thought that. Anyway, that's Nintendo Direct. If there's something we didn't talk about that you really enjoyed from the show, leave us a comment. But overall, yeah, a lot of good stuff coming on the Switch and Switch 2. And in combination to Hoag's point of everything else releasing, it is continues to be just a wild time for gamers. So,
oh yeah, no, you can't afford this year. Nobody can afford this year.
Hoag, you mentioned prior to us going live about wanting to touch on briefly, at least just highlight the fact that it's a thing. About this Nintendo patent. Can you talk to us briefly about that?
Yeah, it went around the news earlier this week that Nintendo had registered for and been granted in the U.S. patent system a patent for the summoning of what they call a sub-character in the patent. And there's a lot of legalese in patent language where you have to try to describe to a patent examiner what's happening, and they don't play video games, and so it's always a bit of a communication issue. But a sub-character that you bring into the field of play while you're playing a game, and that sub-character attacks things for you. So it's essentially a summoning patent. And there are a bunch of things that happen within the patent that don't necessarily make it apply to all of the panoply of things that you hear people be worried about it on YouTube and whatnot. But it does represent another situation where the U.S. Patent Office, and the U.S. is not alone on this, seems to be a step behind in understanding what should be patented and what shouldn't be. For those that don't have a familiarity with the patent system, what it means or how the law works here is you're only supposed to get patent protection for an actual new invention, something that is novel, that does not come from what we call prior art, and that could not be assumed by a person acting in the trade that you're trying to protect from, a natural evolution of what already exists. And so there's a lot of people that are upset about it. I gave some quotes to some outlets. I think the only one that has run it so far is Eurogamer, so you can check that out. In that article, you'll see my quotes there. But I think there are reasons to question patent offices around the world and how they are interacting with video games and prior art. I don't think this necessarily means Nintendo's going to go off and sue Final Fantasy summons or anything like that. But it does create this chilling effect for anybody, particularly indies that don't have the same resource cache as the big publishers, from going and making things when there's all these muddy patents out there that somebody could potentially sue you over. Because by the time you're being sued by Nintendo, whether or not you have a good defense probably doesn't matter to your checkbook or your bottom line. You're already in a lot of trouble. So there's a lot to talk about there. I'm going to be appearing on Punching Up on Last Stand Media later this week. I think that's going to be the subject that I'm talking about. They invited me on. I can't imagine why, if it's not for that. But if you're interested in this topic, you can check out the Eurogamer article. I think IGN also talked to some lawyers, which wasn't me, because they don't like me anymore, Travis. What's the deal? But that's okay. They've done an article on it as well. I think there are reasonable takes out there that suggest that this is a broad problem for video games. I've said in this and other places quite often that the law is pretty bad about being up to speed on what technology is doing. You don't want to see that out of your patent office, which deals only in technology, but it's still the case where you've got a process where a government body has a specific examiner and they can only get filings from one side. They have to examine for prior art themselves, and they aren't playing all the video games that ever existed in history to evaluate these things. So I don't think it's the apocalypse. I don't think it's the end of all things, but it does suck, and the people that are out there saying it sucks, they're basically right.
Okay. We do have a question, and then someone commented as well. So Newspin asks, is there a function to challenge a patent without actually having a product that is related to the patent, or is that a standing issue? And then Solitech says, that was my analysis. I think agreeing with you, Hoag. Surprising they got a patent, and if challenged, will be unenforceable due to prior art.
Yeah, Nintendo has gone and used what I would call as a shotgun approach, where they just kind of throw all of these broad patents at these various patent offices across the world. And it really only needs to stick once to cause problems for other players in the field. Is there a function to challenge it, or is it a standing issue? So standing is a legal concept that says, essentially in the US, that you can't sue unless you are directly impacted by what's happening. The patent office, to sue over it, to say this is an improvidently granted patent, you would need some kind of standing. You need to be damaged in some direct way. But the patent office itself has a methodology to go and say, hey, I heard about this thing, and I think that you have ignored some prior art and you should re-examine it. Now, that's not a great system, and it would still cost time and money to pay for the lawyer to do it for you. But there are mechanisms to say, this isn't right. And sometimes the patent office rescinds when it gets kind of that blowback that you see happening right now in the news. But it's just the process. It's humans all the way down. Human error is a part of the legal process, like it's part of every other process. And yeah, I think video games have gotten away from these various patent offices a little bit. But I think anybody that says Nintendo is using this as essentially an unethical or bullying loophole, probably pretty accurate there. But I don't think that means that tomorrow they're necessarily going to sue everybody on the face of the planet.
Aren't they, though?
So the problem that they have is that if they sue somebody on this, they create the standing that we were just talking about, right? So one of the things that patent trolls or bullies do is you go and you get a bunch of patents, you go convince a naive examiner that there is no prior art and that the patent should be issued to you, and then you hold it out there and you threaten people with it. But if you actually take it to court, then it's not the patent office that is examining it anymore. It's the court that's examining it. And then you can lose it and potentially even lose more if it goes and attaches to other patents that are in your portfolio and things like that. So Nintendo, I think most likely understands that they got away with one here, and more than one, honestly, if we're talking about the other PAL World type patents, and probably doesn't want to press the issue. But no, I can't make promises for what their in-house counsel or boardroom is saying to do with these things. I just think it's unlikely because they would have spent the time and money to get this as an asset, primarily to hold as a sword of Damocles, not to have that sword immediately taken from them when the court goes, are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I hadn't paid attention to that at all. So good context. Call it real quick. Our good friend Fifth String, just a member comment to say my wallet hurts this year with games and cards. And yeah. And you say cards? Oh, cards.
Yeah,
like
the Final Fantasy Magic cards are out. I know a lot of people are spending some on that.
Yeah, I think he might be referencing the Spider-Man set that was recently revealed and are probably going to be extremely expensive. Not that I play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, no doubt, Fish String. Good to see you, my friend. Just this week to be aware of as we start to wrap up here, we got Skate, the new Skate game, goes into early access on Tuesday. We were just talking about early access, but if you're the type of person who either likes Skate or likes early access and checking these things out ahead of time before they're done, that's going on Tuesday. And then we've got two releases we'll probably be talking about in the future here: Dying Light the Beast and a long name here, Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which is a ARPG from Bandai Namco, both released at the end of this week as well. So we'll have a little more on them next week, I'm sure.
Did I ever tell you how many times, like, my younger daughter will watch one of these directs with me and complain about how often there's a sacred or life tree in these games?
You did,
and it's just a thing. It's
thing.
just a thing. But I would also point out that this week that Trails in the Sky remake is coming out as well. I think it's the 19th. So I don't know if you'll be talking about it, but I will.
Okay. We'll talk about it next week. Yeah, cool. All right. So start to wrap up here on the SG side of the house. So my video review of the Razer 8K PC controller went live. Obviously, Borderlands 4 review went live. You can check those out. I'd appreciate it. We'll have Indiana Jones and the Order and the Giants review and a review on Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree as well this week. So you can check all that stuff out. I'd appreciate it. Hogue, I'll hand to you first this week.
Yes. Well, my wares are as described. I was on a summon sign for Last Stand Media last week that you can check out, where I talk about Hell Is Us and Monster Train 2, which, Travis, I think you'll be surprised, my fellow co-hosts had not heard of.
Wow.
Monster Train 2, I thought, was a fairly big indie release. but it went under the radar a little bit in certain quarters. So I talk up the game there, and I think it's a pretty good episode, so you can check that out. I will be on Punching Up this week, and so you can check that out when it goes public. And then I am likely to try to find a time to do, I don't even know what I'm going to call it at this point, a Virtual Legality Extra or some other new type of show to talk about essentially conversations in the United States and the need to converse with people and the importance of discussion, which will be exciting and I'm sure not at all controversial because that's the way things go on the internet. But that's my plan, is to do one of those if I can find the time and energy. But otherwise, I am in the midst of a lot of stuff on the home front. So apologies for not doing more Virtual Legalities and more Hangouts and Headlines directly to those that follow that. I will try to get back to that when things calm down in stuff that isn't public facing.
Fair enough. Travis, show me your wares.
My wares are Borderlands 4 review, and then I've got some cool stuff coming up this week. I'm going to be appearing on Podcast Beyond with Max Scoville and Brian Altano this week for some Borderlands chat. And then I'm going to have a review this week that I can't talk about yet. And then some cool previews as well that I think the preview I'm doing tomorrow, the embargo lifts like the next day. So I will have plenty of content to feed y'all this week, and I'll be able to talk about it all on our next show. On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
I was going to say, we've been waiting like 4 weeks for Travis to be able to talk about his stuff.
Yeah, no.
At least you got stuff early.
Yeah, and I can talk about Borderlands today. It's just
finally,
finally. It's been a while.
Very good. So we'll go ahead and close out. I do want to shout out before, though, Ash Axiom, who is one of our regulars and always generous with both sides of the house, came in late here and gifted a Season Gaming membership and a Hogue Law membership, which is awesome. So, Ash, thank you very much. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well and appreciate it as always. Thank you. All right. Well, as we have said, it is a tremendous time for games. Lots of things to talk about. Chat. A lot of fun today. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you for the generosity. As always, enjoy your week of gaming, and we will see you next Sunday. Until then, Paddington says bye. And,
go Lions.
We'll see you next time. There you go. Until then, peace.